Have you ever wanted something so badly that you planned every detail? Imagine the success, the praise, the new life waiting for you. But somehow, fear stopped you before you even started? If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. In fact, we're living through an era where fear quietly controls more lives than ever before. People are afraid to launch that business, afraid to speak up, afraid to approach someone they like, afraid to simply try. But what if I told you there's ancient wisdom, written over 400 years ago, that can teach you how to master fear once and for all? This isn't just any philosophy. It comes from Miyamoto Musashi, Japan's greatest samurai, undefeated in more than 60 duels. But the most powerful thing he ever wrote had nothing to do with fighting others and everything to do with defeating your inner battles. Before his death at 62, Musashi wrote 21 timeless principles known as the path of walking alone. These weren't rules for war. They were lessons on courage, detachment, and mental strength. And once you truly understand them, your relationship with fear will never be the same again. So stay with me till the end, because what you're about to hear might completely reshape how you see courage. Think about it for a second. What would your life look like if fear didn't control you? If you could act boldly, make tough choices, and stop worrying about what people think? Musashi spent his life studying not just how to win battles on the battlefield, but how to win the ones inside the mind. And his biggest discovery? Fear isn't an enemy to destroy. It's an emotion to understand. But that's just the beginning. Before we dive in, make sure to subscribe, like, and drop a comment below. What would you do today if you had zero fear? Your engagement helps this channel reach more people who need this message. Now, let's get into it. Modern science tells us fear is a survival mechanism, a built-in alarm to keep us safe. It helped our ancestors run from wild predators. The only problem? We're not living in the wild anymore. That presentation at work, that first date, that dream project, none of it's actually life-threatening. But your brain doesn't know that. It reacts as if you're being chased by a saber-toothed tiger. Musashi understood this centuries before neuroscience existed. And that's why he created a system, a philosophy, to reprogram how we respond to fear. Rule 1. Don't go against human nature. Instead of fighting fear, flow with it. Fear is part of being human, but courage is choosing how to respond. Rule 2. Don't chase pleasure for its own sake. The more you cling to comfort, the more you fear discomfort. People who avoid pain end up living in constant anxiety. Musashi taught that true strength comes from accepting discomfort as a natural part of life. When you stop running from it, fear loses its grip. Rule 3. Don't rely on partial feelings. How many times have you avoided doing something important because of how you felt in the moment? Your heart races, your mind says don't risk it, and suddenly you freeze. But those feelings aren't facts. They're just stories your brain tells to keep you safe. Most of our fears don't exist in reality. They exist in imagination. Rule 4. Think lightly of yourself and deeply of the world. When you're afraid, notice who the star of the story is. It's you. You're imagining embarrassment, rejection, or failure. But everyone else is too busy worrying about their own lives to obsess over yours. Rule 5. Have no desires that control you. This doesn't mean you shouldn't dream. It means your dreams shouldn't own you. When you cling too tightly to an outcome, fear sneaks in through the thought, what if I fail? Act with purpose, but without attachment. That's where true courage begins. Rule 6. Never regret your actions. Regret is fear's favorite weapon. Every what if from your past builds a wall around your present. Make the best choice you can now, commit fully, accept the results, learn, and move forward. Rule 7. Never envy others. Envy is just fear wearing a mask. Fear that you're not enough, fear that you're behind, fear that others are winning while you're losing. You're comparing your behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel. And that's never a fair fight. Musashi's next rules go even deeper. They challenge everything modern society teaches us about success, happiness, and emotional control. Rule 8. Don't be saddened by separation. At first, this one sounds cold, but Musashi wasn't telling us to be heartless. He was teaching emotional strength. Fear of losing people, opportunities, or situations keeps us trapped. When you cling too tightly, you push others away. Musashi's message is simple. Everything is temporary. People come and go. Life changes shape every day. Once you accept impermanence, you stop living in defense mode and start living in expansion mode. Centuries later, science confirmed what Musashi knew. A Stanford researcher found that your brain reacts exactly the same way to imagined fear as it does to real danger. To your nervous system, there's no difference between standing before a lion and standing before a crowd. Most of our fear doesn't come from reality. It comes from imagination. Rule 9. Let go of resentment. Have no grievances against yourself or others. Resentment keeps your body in a state of constant alert. It's like living with a fire alarm that never turns off. The brain reads resentment as danger, and that keeps fear alive. Forgiving yourself and others isn't weakness. It's how you reset your nervous system and regain peace. Rule 10. Don't be ruled by lust or love. Musashi wasn't saying don't love. He was saying don't lose yourself in it. When you depend on someone else for validation, you become terrified of losing them, and that fear poisons the relationship. True love comes from choice, not dependence. Rule 11. In all things, have no preferences. This means be flexible. When you demand life to unfold in one exact way, anything that deviates feels like danger. Flexibility is the antidote to anxiety. Rules 12 to 15. Break free from material fear. Rule 12. Don't covet a private residence. It's not about owning a home. It's about not letting possessions own you. When your safety depends on stuff, you live in fear of losing it. Rule 13. Don't seek delicious flavors. It's about not becoming addicted to comfort. Every dependency gives fear more power. Rules 14 and 15. Don't hoard old things or desire more than necessary. Live simply, not to be minimalist, but to be fearless. The fewer things you need to feel happy, the fewer fears can control you. Rule 16. Don't follow ancient customs blindly. Stop living by expectations that don't belong to you. Maybe your parents have plans for you. Maybe society says you should have a certain life by a certain age. These rules create invisible prisons. Musashi said, don't be a slave to traditions that don't make sense for your life. When you stop trying to fit someone else's mold, you start living authentically. Rule 17. Don't collect weapons beyond usefulness. In modern terms, don't collect endless skills, degrees, or qualifications just to feel safe. Many people keep learning as a way to avoid acting. It's fear disguised as productivity. Knowledge only matters when it's applied. Rule 18. Don't fear death. This isn't about recklessness, it's about liberation. When you accept that death is inevitable, the fear of living disappears. Fear of embarrassment fades. Fear of failure loses meaning. Better to try and fail than reach the end regretting you never tried. Musashi's final 3 rules contain a paradox that has changed lives for centuries. Rule 19. Don't cling to wealth for your old age. In a world obsessed with retirement and savings, this sounds crazy. But the more you fixate on the future, the more you fear the present. People who obsess over financial security often live decades in deprivation, missing real experiences now. The more you cling to safety, the less safe you feel. Rule 20. Respect the divine, but don't depend on it. Musashi said, respect Buddha and the gods, but don't rely on their help. It's not about abandoning faith. It's about not using it as an excuse for inaction. Faith should give you courage to act, not permission to avoid action. Rule 21. Preserve your honor above all else. You may abandon your body, but you must preserve your honor. Possessions can vanish. Status can fade. Even your body will one day fail. But your integrity, your word, your truth, that's who you really are. When you live by your values, fear of others' opinions disappears. And here's Musashi's ultimate truth. Fear will never completely disappear. It's part of being human. The difference between people who live fully and those who merely survive isn't the absence of fear. It's the ability to act even when fear is present. Each of these 21 rules doesn't erase fear, they transform it. You stop seeing fear as an enemy and start seeing it as information. Instead of running away from discomfort, you learn to navigate it. Musashi wasn't immune to fear, he learned to dance with it. And these 21 rules are the map he left for you to follow on the same journey. So, will you keep letting fear control your choices? Or will you use these teachings to finally live the life you truly desire? If this message inspired you, watch the next video that's playing now. Your next step toward mastering yourself. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell me in the comments, which of Musashi's 21 rules hit you the hardest? Remember, courage isn't living without fear. It's living beyond it.